In the daily back and forth when we all have to deal with the crisis of the moment, it's easy to lose sight of deeper currents that are running through the country. So I want you to think about one thing for just a few minutes, and that's what our Republican Party has achieved in the last 42 years. We have gone from a minority party with little influence to one that is broad and inclusive, self-assured and optimistic, forward-leaning, and perhaps most important of all, dominant in America. 4 decades ago, the Republican Party was in the political wilderness. We'd been wiped out. And yet today, we control the White House, the Senate, the U.S. House, a majority of governorships, and in the last several elections, more state legislative seats than we've had in the last 80 years. We've made steady gains in Pennsylvania since this president took office. Since 2000, you've gained 9 seats in the State House, and today continue to control both the State House and the State Senate. During the last 42 years, more importantly, we've seen the rise of a great cause. It's not just that we're holding offices. We've seen a tremendous amount of progress for this country because of 5 Republican presidents and Republican congressional majorities. The Cold War was won on our watch, and today we're winning the war against Islamist fascism. Millions of people who are living today in freedom were living in tyranny before Republicans took control and Republicans took action. Republicans rebuilt our national defenses, we cut taxes and spurred economic growth, we ended stagflation, we limited government's growth, we reformed welfare and insisted on accountability and high standards in education. We took important steps to protect and strengthen marriage and the family, and we have stood for constitutionalism and against judicial activism in our courts. That is a fantastic record of success and one of which we can all be very, very proud. Now, it didn't happen all at once. And there were setbacks along the way as well as advances. Progress took time and hard work and energy and will. And you know what? It's because of our principles. It's because of our positive and optimistic agenda. It's because of our candidates, because of their ability to inspire, because of the unity that we have after our primaries, because of you and your commitment to our great cause. And I know that we're going to continue to build on that record with a great election victory this fall and great action for the American people and the people of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania after that. I'm confident of the victory because of our ideas. 25 years ago, Daniel Patrick Moynihan wrote in the New York Times, quote, "All of a sudden, the GOP has become the party of ideas." Now, he didn't write that with joy in his pen, but it was true then, and it's true today. And as you know, we are the party of ideas, and ideas have consequences. Ideas, a party's governing philosophy, should be at the center of the election, because it's how people make up to it plays a big deciding role in those elections. That was certainly the case in 2000, and 2002, and 2004, and it will be true again this November. And we have an agenda to run and win on. Now, before I talk about the agenda, let me make a point. Our opponents are our fellow citizens, not our enemies. Honorable people can have honest political differences, and we will strive for civility in what we say and do. But civility is not a synonym for passivity. And we will treat our political opponents with respect by treating their arguments with respect, because we have confidence in our ideals and principles. We look forward to a robust debate about what Lincoln once called the great and durable questions of our age. The truth is, Democrats and Republicans do have big differences about our nation, where it's going, what needs to be done to make it stronger, safer, and better. And those differences should be debated this year, openly and honestly and passionately. And tonight I want to talk about 3 of them: the economy, the courts, and national security. Now, the economy is a perennial election year issue, and this year will be no different. Americans have a choice between 2 vastly different approaches to our economy, and that's good news for us. Because the American economy is the strongest in the world, and it's grown faster than any other industrialized country in the world. It grew at an annual rate of 4.8% in the first quarter of this year. It added almost 5.2 million new jobs in the last 2.5 years, and employment is at an all-time high. The unemployment rate is 4.7%, below the averages of the last 3 decades, the 90s, the 80s, and the 70s. Core inflation remains low, just 2.1% over the last year. Mortgage rates remain near historic lows. The national home ownership rate is at an all-time high, and sales of new and existing homes reached record levels in 2005. Real disposable personal income is up 14% since this president took office, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average is a 6-year high. We did that when we inherited a recession when we walked in the door, corporate scandals, 911 that cost us 1 million jobs, and a stock market bubble that burst in 2000. And why did it happen? It's because Republicans took action and we cut taxes when taxes needed to be cut. Now this president did that because he understands the role of government is not to create wealth. That's not done by the government. That's done by risk takers and entrepreneurs. The role of the government is to create an environment in which that entrepreneurial spirit can flourish and where small businesses can grow, where people can dream about owning their own home and have it become their reality. The president understands that wealth is created by risk takers and workers and farmers and ranchers and entrepreneurs, and that the American economy grows when we let people keep more of their own money to invest and save and spend as they see fit, not as the government sees fit. And that's why this administration, with a Republican Congress, has cut taxes for every American who pays taxes, and has cut taxes every single year this president has been in office. You know, we cut taxes on income. We cut taxes on small business. We cut taxes on dividends and on capital gains. We doubled the child tax credit. We reduced the marriage penalty. And we put the death tax on the road to extinction. These tax cuts help explain why the American economy is so strong. Yet the Democrats, on the other hand, they got an allergy to tax cuts. Nearly 3/4 of the Democrats in Congress voted against cutting income tax rates. Nearly 3/4 of the Democrats voted against tax relief for married couples. Nearly 3/4 of the Democrats voted against doubling the child tax credit. You may start to see a pattern emerge here. Nearly 3/4 of the Democrats voted against killing the death tax. More than 95% of congressional Democrats voted against cutting taxes on dividends. More than 95% of congressional Democrats voted against accelerated expensing for small businesses. And more than 95% of congressional Democrats voted against cutting taxes on capital gains. It seems like the Democrats have never found a tax cut they like or a tax increase they wouldn't pass. They've got a strategy. They've got a philosophy. They've got a consistent view of the way that things ought to be. They believe taxes should be raised in times of prosperity and times of economic slowdown. They believe that they ought to be raised during war and during peace. They ought to be raised in odd-numbered years and even-numbered years. They ought to be raised on days of sunshine and days of rain. They believe every day is a good day and every occasion a good occasion to raise your taxes. And we Republicans strongly disagree.